Hey, good morning, everybody. So as promised, in today's live, I'm going to be going through some of the questions that you guys have asked me in our Facebook group, the Crypto and FX Traders Club. So whether you're watching this live with me now or whether you catch the replay, I'm going to be covering most of these questions today. But I'm going to save a couple for a future video this week. So let me start. Firstly, hope you're all well. Hope you're doing well. Comment if you're here. Say hi. And let's get going. And we'll try and do this in good time. So the first question that I've got here is regarding BlockFi. So the question is, is BlockFi a good place to stake Bitcoin? In my opinion, BlockFi is a good platform. Now, for total security, in my opinion, obviously keeping your crypto in a ledger is the most secure. But if you're looking to kind of earn interest on your holdings, then BlockFi is reputable and and as secure as they come, and it stood the test of time as well. It's got a good reputation. So yeah, I would say that obviously you've got there's always risk, but in my opinion, BlockFi is a good option if you have Bitcoin. The next question I've got here is, is regarding established exchanges. So, new student, is it wise to stick to more established exchanges, the ones that you gave us links to, even if staking rates are lower? On this one, I would say, in general, yes, absolutely. So, if you're going to be, like when you've got money in an exchange, you have risk. Okay, so we all take that risk. We keep some funds in exchanges. You have to have some funds if you want to be active and you want to purchase coins. Otherwise, you keep having to put money into the exchange, which costs money and so on, transaction fees. So put it firstly, kind of thinking about that there is already a risk. The chances of one of the bigger exchanges getting hacked is much smaller than the smaller ones, right? Because they're bigger for a reason. That means that they have more to lose. They have they're able to get the best security, and so I wouldn't necessarily put my holdings in a less reputable exchange just to get slightly more interest. I would either keep it on a more reputable exchange like Coinbase, like Binance, than putting it into another exchange. Now, where the smaller exchanges are quite good is that they allow you to buy some cryptos that are not available. So when you're looking for like 100x or 1000x kind of coins, they're probably not going to be sitting necessarily on Binance, okay? Because normally coins get listed on Binance when they're a bit more established and they've got some volume to them, but by that point, the price has gone up. So those exchanges are great just to buy, and then you can transfer over to a wallet, for example, to store your coins so that they're a bit more secure. But other than that, I wouldn't, I would stick to the better exchanges if at all possible. The next question I have is regarding Tradingview. So Tradingview, if you're new to trading, is a charting software, and I'm being asked, is the cheapest paid subscription sufficient on Tradingview? I had a quick little look to see, because I always have the premium one, so because I have a lot of alerts. Now, for me, this wouldn't be enough, because a big part of my trading strategy is I don't want to be in front of the screens all the time. So I have to use a lot of alerts. So I normally have, I would probably be more looking like I probably got over 100 alerts for sure. And so personally, because of this reason, it wouldn't be enough for me. I mean, the rest of it, 5 indicators per chart, that's fine. 2 charts in one window. I mean, I like to have 4, but 2 is fine. You get quite a lot. If you can live with 20 alerts, then it's fine. Otherwise, I would consider going for the Pro package and getting 100 alerts. The other thing, if money's quite tight, you can start with, maybe start with this one, and and then what you could do is, during the holidays, when there's special offers, you can upgrade to the Pro Plus, because there's normally there'll be times where they do sales and things like that, so you can get the price a little bit cheaper than what it's listed on their site. The next question I have here, guys, is: do you think that ETH has more potential than Bitcoin itself, technically, rather than beating the price of BTC? I do. I've got to be honest. I mean, Bitcoin is great for a lot of reasons. The biggest reason is that with Bitcoin, it's now accepted by a lot of institutions, and it's really made a lot of strides over the last few years. But what I like about Ethereum is that Ethereum is basically a platform where other projects can be built on, and for me, it has more value, in my opinion, in terms of real world use case. I think Bitcoin, we think Bitcoin will be the one that sticks around, but I think personally, I think you invest in both, if you want a safe portfolio, but in my opinion, I think ETH has the most potential, considering all its problem, considering the high gas fees and everything else that and all the competition that's kind of coming, from Solana, for example. It's still number 2 in market cap by a long shot, by a long way. It's the most established, and for me, there's so many projects now being built on the Ethereum network. I personally think, I guess money talks, and I can openly say that I have a bigger holding in my portfolio in Ethereum over Bitcoin. Okay, so the next question I have here is from Yasser. So Yasser, I have a question for you, Andy. Which broker do you use for crypto trading, like BTC, USD? I heard a lot from a lot that trading crypto is not allowed, but obviously you and many more are doing it. Any recommendation help would be much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, I use Binance and I use FTX. Now, I've got a professional status with those platforms. I've got to be honest, I don't know what the situation is with retail. Now, the alternatives that you can, so I mean, those two I really like. The alternative would be Qcoin. So you can look into Qcoin. They have really good leveraged, trading. And if that doesn't work for you, then you could consider one of the smaller exchanges, like the one that I posted, MEXC. That could be an alternative. They do have leverage position futures trading as well. but my preference, well, I guess what I do is FTX and Binance. But if you can't do those, then look at Qcoin and then look at some of the smaller ones. And this is going to be the last question for today. And then like I said, I'm going to do another video and share the final question. So this is the one for today. Andy McAlpine. When the price of BTC started going up last year, people were taking their money out of altcoins and investing in BTC. Hence, the price of altcoins did not move much. Would it be the same again when the price moves up, or when is it best to invest in altcoins as opposed to BTC? Really good question. I think what I try to do, Andy, is I try not to overthink that. It's quite a simple philosophy. For me, the best way to do this is, because when we look at altcoins, we're talking about general, right? So if we look at the S&P 500, there's 500 stocks in the S&P 500, and we can say, the stocks have been going up, but within that sort of those 500 stocks, we know that some of them have not been going up. So when it comes to making a decision on whether to invest in Bitcoin or altcoins, I'll be looking at the projects that I'm interested in first and foremost. And, if the price is high, that's not the time to be adding to your portfolio. You want to be adding when the price is low. So as the market is pulling back, like for example, right now, we've had a nice pullback in Bitcoin. Now, if, for example, you had taken some profits when the markets were rallying in some of your altcoins, you could now be sitting on some dollars that you could then be saying, okay, well, I'm going to buy a little bit of Bitcoin because it's cheaper. And then maybe if it goes down to 30,000, then you can buy a little bit more. So I would be doing it specifically to the altcoins, like, where are they relative to where they've been? Where are they relative to their long-term moving averages, to their long-term trend lines? Is this a value point for me to buy? And that's kind of how I do it. And that's why alerts are great. Yes, we can make conclusions. Sometimes it is the case that money moves from altcoins to Bitcoin and so on. So, but for me right now, the other thing you should be focusing on is, what are the projects that you are interested in? And if you have some cash, you could, and the price has gone down and it's gone to a price that represents value, you could start to invest more in it. So, for example, if you take something, and this is going to be, this is one of the questions, but I'm not going to cover it today. If you take Atom, for example, that's really, as you guys know, it's one of my favorite projects. But that's really held up. But you had the opportunity to buy a lot cheaper, like a few weeks ago. But it's really held up compared to, it's near its all-time highs, even though the general market's gone down. So for me, that's the kind of project that I love. But if I didn't add when it went down, I wouldn't be adding right now because it's at a high point. Whereas something like Ethereum, for example, that's come down quite a bit from wherever it was, where it was 4.5 and some, and it went back down to 3. Well, that's a good value point. You can see there's been a really nice drop in a very solid project. I think there's nobody here that would argue that Ethereum is not a solid project. So I would be looking at the projects that I'm interested in when they're at really high prices. Look to take some profit. When they come back down, look to use some of that profit to buy them cheaper. When the price is high, you don't really want to be adding to your portfolio. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully that helps. Well, and I've got some more questions that I'm going to be covering this week. So I wanted to dedicate a specific video just on this so we can spend a bit more time. And it's regarding Solana. Shadow's asked, is it a good time to buy Solana? And also we have another question regarding Solana versus Atom. So I'm going to be covering that this week at some point. I'll be either doing a live or I'll be doing a video to post, guys, because it's a great question. And I want to dedicate the right amount of time to answer that question properly. So I wish you a great day, good trading to you all, and I'll catch you again soon with another video. Take care.